Ever write a script and then rewrite the script? Because the first time you wrote the script, it sucked, and you said you were neutral about a game when it was just so clear that you just wrote it because you hated your first impressions. Risk of Rain 2.
Risk of Rain was a side-scrolling platformer roguelike, and Risk of Rain 2 is a sequel. I know, simmer down. But despite the fact that this is a sequel, it's an entirely different genre. See, Risk of Rain 2 is a third-person shooter, having made the transition from 2D to 3D, supposedly very solidly. I know I said supposedly, and it's mostly because, how do I talk about my history of this game?
I literally thought that was Risk of Rain.
This is Into the Breach, which is another sci-fi game with a 3-word title, but not the same. So when Risk of Rain 2 comes out and everyone loves it, I'm sitting there wondering how an isometric strategy game's sequel did so well, and then I hear it's a third-person shooter and that the original was a 2D adventure game, and that just completely obliterated me. Yeah, I was thinking about the wrong game. Oops. Straight away, I need to make two things clear. First off, Risk of Rain 2 is in early access, with a proposed launch window in the first half of 2020. Despite that, though, honestly, the game's kind of well polished for what little content there is here. The art style is very crisp, animations are very nice, and the whole game feels solid. Slow, but solid. The only real sign of this being early access is the distinct lack of content. There's like 5 or 6 worlds, with about 4 or 5 enemies per world, and there's not many unlockables, and to be honest, you could probably play most, if not all, the game's content in about 10 hours at the moment. Of course, that can and will change as new stuff comes out. Hell, there was a new patch while I was writing the script. I didn't even include that patch. I don't know why I didn't. It didn't inspire me enough to drop a whole bunch of time into it. I played some for the recording of this review, but I'm getting off topic. Look, if you're about to say, well, actually it takes 30 hours to unlock the elusive Breadmaker character, then you might want to check the date this review went up. This is pretty much the initial release and a tiny smidgen of the first major content patch. Pretty much every bit of review from here on out is subject to change as the game develops. Again, there was an update to the game between when I wrote the script and when I recorded it, so anything is possible. Secondly, it's really hard for me to get into a game like this. First of all, I have a hard time enjoying games people pressure me into enjoying. Whether it's a bunch of people jumping down my throat about what I like about Sonic Mania or Shovel Knight and then demanding I play it and enjoy it when I say I hadn't played it yet. Surprise, I didn't enjoy Sonic Mania or Shovel Knight. Or even just something as innocuous as a friend suggesting I pick up Destiny 2 for $40 at the time of its PC launch because I might enjoy it as someone looking for an FPS with a single-player campaign and stuff to do after the fact. Yeah, that one happened. Oh, it's going to be free on all platforms in September? Groovy. Cool. Great. That makes me so glad I spent all that money. Oh, and Risk of Rain 2 is a roguelike. I should probably mention that my time spent in roguelikes looks a little bit like this. I buy one, thinking it'll be different from all the other roguelikes I didn't like. I put 20 hours into it. Surprise, it's kind of more of the same. Rinse and repeat. But I think what really worried me is the fact that this game has sold 1 million copies faster than A Hat in Time or Gone Home did. I don't know. I feel like I see a lot more of Gone Home or A Hat in Time than I will ever see of Risk of Rain 2. At least until content lock or launch. If it sold 1 million and the game was already out, then cool. But this is still in alpha. These are numbers Minecraft was pulling in its alpha. But this isn't even a widespread survival crafting renaissance, like genre buster game. This is a roguelike, and is only on a single platform, with a minimal amount of content because, again, it's an alpha. I guess, if anything, don't underestimate niche online communities. The movement speed is a little slower than I'd like, and the starting character, while simple enough to manage, leaves a lot to be desired. Mul-T was the second character I unlocked, and they're even slower, and the Huntress is actually kind of nice. You lock onto nearby enemies automatically, you have an easy way to shut down a small section of the map or deal a ton of damage to bosses, your movement speed is plenty quick for what it's worth, and if I'm being honest, I really don't want to play any other characters or even unlock new ones after unlocking the Huntress. This is kind of the pacing and combat I expected from this game going in. I don't know why they locked it behind making a rather considerable amount of progress, but please, make the other characters, I guess at the very least, a little quicker, for our sake. It's ridiculous how slow some of these characters can be. In Risk of Rain 2, you locate a teleporter, spending money on items along the way, and then spend time thinning out the swarm of enemies and fighting the boss, all while inside the boss's arena bubble thing. Until the teleporter is good to go and the boss is dead. Cash in your money for bonus experience and move on to the next level where you do the exact same thing. The environments are varied enough, I suppose, but they really don't offer the gameplay all that much except for a new coat of paint and to act as a visual representation of progress. The snow level has some uniqueness, and then it's a rather large handful of unique enemies. But in between the bunkers and the shipping containers to this abandoned research facility, I was expecting something a little more worthwhile. It would be nice if these maps just had a little more to explore, include some bits of environmental storytelling. Tell us what happened here. Also, why is the game called Risk of Rain? The difficulty modes are rain themed, but that's about it. Honestly, it'd be neat if, say, the higher the difficulty got, the more it actually rained. So on easy, there's nothing, it becomes a little bit on medium, more and more on hard and very hard. And by the time the difficulty counter breaks and laughs at your misfortune, it's an absolute downpour that drops visibility significantly. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud. I think that'd be neat. That's just kind of what I expected from a game called Risk of Rain. I didn't expect no rain. There is no rain. Overall, Risk of Rain 2 is okay. It's just okay. It didn't wow me like it surprised a lot of other people, but I don't think it's all that awful at the same time. It gets a passing grade, but like a C. Or like, if you want to throw a number on it, this is why I don't do numeric ratings. I'd give the game like a 6.5. It's above average to some degree, just not by a lot. So that's why I don't do numeric ratings, and that's why I do verdicts, because it's just easier for everybody. Because if you go around saying, yeah, I gave Risk of Rain 2 a 6.5, I'm pretty sure you'll get stabbed. Risk of Rain 2 is available on PC at the time of this recording, with PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Switch ports rumored to come out in 2020. The game costs $20 USD, but I don't really think it's all that worth it for me, but your mileage will, of course, vary. If you like this video and you'd like to see more, I'd recommend subscribing. Patreon and social media links are in the description.